everybody, this is Jewelyn and
hi, Carrie.
Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Carrie's Los Angeles apartment and welcome to her summer 2019 plant tour. I'm excited to be back in her home. Since the last spring 2019 plant tour, there has been a lot of additional babies that has been recently added to your collection.
Yes. Constantly, yes, lots.
And Carrie's been up to a lot for plant life for the last couple of months. I'm really excited to sit down and plant talk. If you enjoy watching my Meet My Plant Friend series featuring their plant collection and doing tours of their plant collection in their home and see how they style plants in their home, because I definitely live in a small dark studio with a patio. Carrie's opposite. She lives in an apartment on a second floor.
Yeah, with direct sun in the afternoons.
With a little small patio. So I hope you guys enjoy seeing another side of plant life. And without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about what's been going on in your plant life since we've been here for spring 2019.
You and I went to the show up in Reseda, Encino, wherever it is.
Encino.
And the last time you were here, we talked, let's see, well, gosh, I've noticed so much. So we went to that show.
Active Plant Life.
Active Plant Life. I went to another show this past weekend, which we just talked about.
Yes, if you haven't watched her plant haul for that plant show, it's the video that's going to be up prior to this one.
Yeah. My big jade that I had out on my balcony, so remember we talked about it. I was trying to figure out what was going on with it. That show we went to back in June, I took a cutting off of it there, and someone there told me what was going on with it, and basically it was a goner.
So what did you do with it?
I had to just throw it out. Oh. Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
You know what? It's not like it was a rare plant or anything. Yes, it was old and big, but you know what? It's a common plant. You can find, and you know what? It freed up so much space for more plants on my balcony. So,
which you'll see in a
second. So there was that. So the balcony completely changed, and my husband and I both really like the way it is now. So it's nice. I joined the Los Angeles Cactus and Succulent Society, which is really awesome. If you have a club near you to join, do it. I mean, just the knowledge that I get from going. I've only been to 2 meetings. I joined at the sale we were at in June. So I've been to 2 meetings, and I've learned so much in those 2 meetings. And just creating this network of people that you can get all this information from. Not to mention that they sell plants at the meetings.
And both meetings, have you been buying plants?
Yep, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Yeah, so there's people who are potters and they sell their pottery at the meeting.
Cool.
There's growers who sell their plants at the meetings. I've bought some stones there. Some beautiful stones at the meetings. So it's been really cool, and I've met some really awesome people. So
so if I ever have Thursday nights off in the future, I'm going to add myself to that club, because it's on one Thursday
a month. Yeah.
So
and it's a very active club.
Cool.
Yeah.
So anything else you've been up to, like trying to figure out how to bring more plants in your home?
Pretty much that's it. And also we moved to a new location, so I'm a Pilates instructor. And so my new location, I have different space. So I took a plant from home over there. I bought a Aurelia to go over there, and so I'm also adding plants at work now.
Okay,
so it's expanding
send
my
me
collection.
pictures, and then I'll go ahead and insert it now so you can see what a little plant life she has going on in this
it's little
video.
right now, but
I
really,
think it's cool.
And the clients there,
it warms up the space too.
I've gotten a lot of comments on it, so people are liking it.
Okay, so there you go. She's bringing plant life into her workspace. Leave a comment down below if you do that too.
It's nice. Fresh air in a gym is good. Clean plant air.
So I hope you guys are really excited to have Carrie back onto the channel. I know a bunch of you are coming onto the channel. I've never seen Carrie's apartment plant tour. This is probably the third time?
This is the
third tour we've done.
Yep.
So if you haven't seen her previous plant tours, go ahead, check it out. You can see how she has evolved over the past couple of months. You've been doing plant life for how long now?
Really intense like this, only for about a year. I've always had plants, but I had, you know, like this little rack shelf behind me has 9 shelves. Let's say I had a plant on each shelf, maybe 2. But when I went back to being self-employed,
that's when it started.
That's when it started. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and take a tour and give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy seeing Carrie's Summer 2019 plant tour.
Dining room. Okay, so we'll just talk about the plants I have hanging here. So this is the Tradescantia Zebrina that you and I each bought one of.
Yes, the green silver.
Yes, up in San Gabriel. Seems to be doing well. I am not repotting it. I'm just going to let it grow wild, and then maybe in a few months you and I can have a repotting session.
Okay, sounds good.
Just for this guy, because I love Tradescantias, but my last experiment with repotting one did not go well, and I had to give it to someone else to love. So, and it's doing very well with her, by the way. All right, this Hoya I got in January of this year, and started out in a 6-inch pot, moved it up to this 10-inch pot, and she's very happy here in the dining room as well. Everything's just been recently watered, so that's why the soil looks like it does. I'm hoping in a couple of years to get some blooms off of this. It needs to be pot bound before I can get any blooms. I love this plant. It's such a cool plant. Beautiful color, neon pothos. Started out in a 3-inch pot from a nursery over in West Hollywood. I kept it in that 3-inch pot for several months and then moved it into this one, and it's just as happy over here in the dining room as it was hanging over the kitchen sink, which is really nice. Twisted lipstick plant. All right, I think I've called this a curly lipstick plant before, but I recently did some more research on it, and its name is actually Rasta, which I think is super cool. I bought this in WeHo as well. Has not been repotted. Next spring we can do a crazy repotting thing with some of my plants.
Okay.
This one and the
That'd be
Tradescantia,
cool.
and that would be a lot of fun.
A really fun planting with Jewelyn Carrie's edition.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of rearranging, moving things around, this one is in the kitchen now. I had just gotten this the last time you were here, and it's over the kitchen sink. You can see the yellowing on some of the leaves because when I got this guy, I assumed it was going to be like some of the other peperomias I've had that need to be drier, and I left it dry and it wasn't happy. So now it's getting more water and it's hanging over the kitchen sink so it can get a little bit of the filtered sun that comes through and also a little more humidity. So I'm hoping it's looking well. It's got a lot of fresh new growth on it, so I think moving it there was a good idea. My beautiful goosefoot arrowhead plant, whatever, everybody's got a slightly different name for it. Love this guy, has been with me for a while now. I've decided I'm not repotting it again for a little while. I repotted it in the spring, and I'm going to see if I can get away with 2 years in this pot. Mainly just on space issues, because every time I repot it, it just goes wild, which is cool, but I don't have a lot of space. Back in the spring, I went and got some spring cacti, and they were blooming when I got them. They did really well, and then I have 3 different colors and put them all in here, and I'm starting to get some new growth off of them. This is my Albuca spiralis, and it's dormant because it thinks it's living in the southern hemisphere still, and it thinks it's winter. So it bloomed, and then all of the leaves turned brown and fell off, and the guy I got it from told me to just keep watering it sparingly all through our summer and fall, and then it'll come back in the winter when it's summer in the southern hemisphere.
So maybe we'll see it in the next plant tour, maybe.
Maybe we'll see something happening in the next plant tour. 2 little cactus that I bought from Trader Joe's, I don't even know how long ago, that I ignored for probably a good 1.5 years before I put them into another pot. That's why
Cute
this
pots,
one's
by the way.
grown. I love those little pots.
They're very
so
cute.
Adorable. And when I repotted my curly spider plant, I broke some things off, some babies off, so they're sitting here in a tiny dish of water growing some roots so I can throw them back on the dirt. And then coming over here, this guy, one of my ogre ears. This one's new since the last time you were here. I bought this out in the San Gabriel Valley, and I like it for the kind of bonsai look it has going on. also the string of watermelons. The dark ones are new. So I already had the cuttings that the guy had given me from up in Camarillo. And then I bought another plant because it was at a super good price. And I potted them together, which was quite an experience because I took some of them and put them in water to root them, to get the aerial roots to grow dirt roots. So this has really been an undertaking to get the roots to grow the way I wanted them to. But I'm going to call it a success because I've got babies growing Cute. In there. My Euphorbia amelii that I've had for a little while now. Can't remember exactly when I got that, but that was like a $5 plant. And has the cutest, that's lemon, something lemon, and it's got really pretty little yellow blooms on it. This, I can never remember the name of, but that is a monstrous form of a cactus that I bought at the show that we went to together in June. Okay. So that was in my haul that we did back then. We talked about these two guys in the last video. These are two new euphorbias that I have that I just got last week. This guy is not new, but he's new to being planted by himself here. So it's a Lediboria.
Why is he by himself?
Because he's the only one I have like that. Oh. I had him potted with another one, and he was never doing anything. So I took him out and put him in here by himself, and now he's got a baby and sprouting more leaves. So I was like, okay, he just wanted to be alone. He's a loner. Haworthia, which I've had for quite a while. Being open like this, a lot of people say that when they're open like that, they're thirsty.
Open like that. Okay.
But if you look inside, you'll see the new growth coming up the center. So I'm not so sure that it really means it's thirsty because I tend to get new growth when they open that way. So I don't really know what's going on. It looks happy, so I'm happy. All right, another new Lediboria, which I bought at a nursery up in Northridge, and I gave you some of these.
Yeah, it's doing good.
Yeah. So I gave some of these to several people, and it's really happy everywhere. This thing, they sold this to me for $10, and it was about 5 times this many.
What a deal.
So I split it up, and I gave it to all of my friends. Spread the joy, spread the love. That's plant life, right? Mm-hmm. This is my Cryptanthus Earth Star, which I repotted since the last time you were here. I didn't try to separate the babies. They just came apart on their own. So that's why they're all apart now. And I like this one under the grow light because it keeps its pink color under the grow light. It doesn't need sun to get it. All right, so
I love this one.
This was my first Ripsalis. And this thing has been, this is new growth. I bought this in June. And what I read about this was that this actually likes more moisture than most, which is why I have it next to the Cryptanthus that has a water dish underneath it for humidity. And it's doing really, really well. So I'm just going to keep it just like it is and hope that it continues to thrive.
Yeah, and if it does, I'd love to have a cutting of that. I don't know if I have that.
Sure.
But I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah, isn't he pretty? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got this one in West Hollywood.
Nice size plant.
Yeah. I mean,
very cute.
I want to say it was like $8 or something. It was not expensive at all. Yeah. Random fuzzy succulent that I can't remember the name of.
Yeah, I have a bunch, and you know what? It didn't do good in my planter, so now it's living in the greenhouse, what's left of it.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea. I'm thinking about moving this one outside. Like I said, I move things around constantly to see what's going to make them happy, so maybe we'll try that next. All right, my one and only agave. Super common agave. Seems to be happy, growing nicely, filling out. Haven't repotted it or anything, and I think I got this one back in January. Yeah, I got this in January as well. So January was the first plant show I ever went to, the first succulent show I ever went to. So you'll find that a decent number of my plants probably came from a show back in January. Euphorbia obesa, one of the slowest growing things on the planet. Got this guy in January. He's doing fine. Not really doing much of anything, but he's not dead, so that's success. This I just picked up from someone out of the cactus club. So when we go to meetings, everybody brings little cuttings or just plants that they don't want anymore for people to pick up. And so I picked this guy up. I had this arrangement together for a while. I had some, it's been a little while, that I had a string of bananas in here that died. So I decided to just fill this out with Anacampseros because they're just a neat little plant. And you can see I got some blooms this year.
Yeah, mine are blooming too.
Yeah. And my Copper Spoons is doing pretty good as well. So, and he's even got a little new plant baby growing right in there. How exciting is that? Cool. So this guy just stays down here kind of out of the way and thrives. And that I have no idea what that is. That was a leaf I picked up somewhere and threw it in there to propagate, and it's growing. So I'm just leaving it there. I might move it out into a pot on its own sometime when I get the inspiration to do so. Astrophytum that I bought. This was from the show in June that we went to, so that should have been in my haul there. Doing a little bit more of like staging my plants. So you'll notice more variation in the pots that I'm using, and I've thrown some top dressing in on a few different things. So let me know what you think. I love the windows on these Haworthias and the colors that come through. Just an absolutely amazing plant. And like I said when we did my Haworthia tour, this was when I saw a picture of this one online. That was what started my fascination with Haworthias, and it's going stronger than ever now.
My headache plant, mine is
A headache plant?
Yeah.
Oh, is yours like a
like no longer
plant?
Yeah.
Okay. This guy is just in a nursery planter that I repotted it into.
I should have just done that.
And
left
it's
it in a nursery planter.
Just growing like crazy. I call it String of Tacos. I know that's not its real name, but this is my taco plant. It's just a fun peperomia. And then next to him is another peperomia and a watch chain. And that watch chain, I don't know, we don't get along very well. So maybe if we talk about, I wouldn't call it a dramatic plant, but I would call it a plant that I don't seem to just do very well with at all. So they're just kind of there and surviving. You'll see my lithops collection. These I've had for a while, with the exception of this one and this one. A lot of them, most people don't even necessarily know which one they are. Like I kept the name off of this one, so this was like Lithops Dorothy. This is Lithops optica rubra, which is a rare one. This little plant here, I paid $15 for at a show in June. Not the one I went to with you.
Okay.
I went to one after that,
right,
later in the month.
You were sick, so you didn't get much.
I was so sick, but I forced myself to go, and I'm so glad I did. But $15 for this little guy because they're just so rare. But I love the color; it's amazing. You can take a look at all of the others. This came from that same show, and I think that one did as well. And this one I've had for a while. Now, something you can see that one of them is not doing well, whereas its friend there is doing just fine. They share a root system, and this one, when I started seeing that it needed to be watered, I've done everything. I've actually soaked them in water for hours. It appears that the water supply to this one has just completely been cut off, so I'm just going to let it do its thing, and it's probably going to die. But I found that really interesting, that even though they share a root system, only one of them is getting water.
Interesting.
So, very interesting. What's going on up here? I decided to try to grow some plants from seed. I bought a big chocolate soldier that had some seed pods on it, and took those guys out and planted them in here. I ordered some Haworthia seeds from someone on Reddit, planted them at the same time as those chocolate soldiers. I had fewer of these seeds than I did of those, which is why there's fewer germinating. Recommendations that someone gave me online, and seems to be doing well. So I thought, well, I'm going to get really brave, and I got some aloe seed pods as well. And there's a line through here. I divided this into 4 sections, and you can see that I'm not really getting anything germinating out of those two, but this has only been about a week. But these, on the other hand, are going crazy. So I'm super excited to see what happens with the little aloes.
Keep the channel posted.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe I'll have some plants to be selling one day. And then here's just some more pods that I have. I'm just going to see how all of this does and decide if I want to plant any more. And typically, this light is on for this guy.
If you are interested in the light setup that Carrie has, it's in my Amazon store.
Yes.
Link is in my description box.
Yes.
My affiliated link.
Tradescantia that you gave me.
Yes. Rooted up.
Rooted up. So now I just need to get him planted. All right. So this little guy's in the orchid family. So he's planted in some really well draining soil. I have the grow light on him because you can see that they'll turn a little bit pink. They don't like direct sun. That would fry it. But it's a watermelon plant, and I like the pink on there, so I give him the grow light to see if that helps. And this is a string of turtles. I also got this from someone I met on Reddit, and I even got a little bloom out of him.
Very cute.
So another little peperomia in my collection. It's a really interesting plant. I don't straight out water it. I missed it because it wasn't doing what it wasn't. I felt like it wasn't getting the water when I was watering it. So I just do a heavy mist, and it's been doing much better. And I've even got some fresh growth on it now. The same person, I got this guy. So a little string of dolphins. Also doing pretty well since I transplanted it into here. Most everything that's here has been here for a while. My little Sansevieria back there, starfish. This is a little Huernia that I'm trying to see if it's actually going to make it or not. Somebody gave me that little guy, so we'll see if it survives. But everything else falls into my Haworthia collection, which you've seen recently.
Or if you haven't, check it out.
Go back and watch it. This is a plectranthus, a variegated plectranthus, hence why it's staying under a grow light. Super soft. The common name for it is Mike's Fuzzy Wuzzy, which I just like to say. And I got this from a guy up in Camarillo. One of my euphorbias is blooming for the second time this year.
Yay, mine's is blooming too.
Yeah, so cool. These are all little tiny gasterias. I bought this massive plant up in Northridge that was completely neglected, and I took it apart, and I've got gasterias everywhere now to see what I can do with it. This is a piece from a monstera, which you'll see in a little while. That one just dried up, but it had a strong root, so I thought
it might come back.
It might come back. So I put it in its own little pot to see if I can get it to come back. And then one of my this is a teddy bear calancho, and with the same props that's been going in that pot for quite a while. And then another Tradescantia there in the back, kitten ears, I've heard it called. And then my Stapelia there in the front has grown a lot since I got it. So this and these guys are new growth. And hopefully this one day in a year or two will also bloom. That would be amazing. Out on the balcony. All right, we've got a couple of new guys here. So apparently Lediborias are something that I also like. This guy I bought. You got a collection going. I've got a little collection going. This one I bought at the show we went to together back in June. It was in my haul. And
there's speckles on it.
Isn't it cute? And this is as big as this one gets.
Oh.
That's it.
Very cute.
Yeah, he is a minima. And he's blooming.
Very cute.
Which is awesome. Mariner's Calancho. I have some seeds from that too. So I'm going to plant some seeds from this guy and see if I can get anything to come up. This guy was inside and not doing well, and brought him outside, and doesn't even really get direct sun or anything, but is just so much happier living life outdoors rather than indoors.
Okay, I just got that Dracaena, so
yeah.
I'll keep you posted how mine does.
Super common Dracaena, right. Yeah. And then here's my little pickle plant, and some other fuzzy thing that I don't really know what it is. Have no idea what this plant is called, but I love the variegation that it gets from the sun.
So if anybody can help ID,
I'd love to know what this guy's called.
Yeah.
Don't even know what type of plant it is, really. So, Fang, a perpetual favorite of mine, so soft and cute. Bird's Nest Sansevieria, which is supposed to be an indoor plant. I've talked about this one before. That pot is not good indoors, so I just brought this thing outside, and it just hit its growth spurt. And all of this is new, and it gets reflected sun, so it's been happy since I put it outside, so I'm leaving it there. This, the last time you were here, was sitting there in a pot about that big, all crammed in together. So,
wow,
some of this is from you. I think these are from you, and then these you and I picked up when we went over to Marina Del Rey to the nursery.
Yep.
And those others probably came from one of those like mixed thing of plants from Trader Joe's or something like that. And I don't know, that's just a prop I picked up from a nursery somewhere off of the ground. I am very excited about my rubber plant right now though. My ficus has been growing like crazy. So we're just in July is when they really start growing. And if you can get in down here, you can see all the little baby plants that are popping off of the side there.
Very cute.
Yeah. So ficus is very happy. Also will not be repotting the ficus because it'll just get bigger and bigger and bigger. These guys are crazy. And
yeah, mine's just taller than me.
And they're invasive. They're an invasive species that planted in the ground here. Their roots are not good for pipes and house foundations. So they're best kept in pots.
Right, contained.
Yeah, contained, yes. So I mentioned a minute ago this huge gasteria that I had gotten at a nursery and broken up into pieces. So you're gonna see it out here everywhere. So I've been playing around with keeping them in shade and giving them sun exposure to see the variegation that comes out on them. It looks like it's dead, but it's not. If you go out to like Huntington Library and look at the ones that are growing out there, this is pretty much what they all look like that get full sun. So I'm just having fun playing around with them and seeing what they look like, how I like what they look like in and out of sun, and if they seem to prefer one thing or another. So I'm experimenting a little bit. And we just went over that little guy. This was one of the first succulents that I got. This is, I've always thought this was Pearl von Nürnberg, and that's what it was sold as. But I recently learned that there's a plant called Purple Pearl, and it might be that, but it's really hard to tell the difference between the two. This plant has been outside its whole life. You can see it's getting all stretchy, but it doesn't really drop leaves or anything, so I feel like she's quite happy just the way she is. I just kind of move her around in the pot every once in a while to change her outlook on the world a little. Stone babies, I realize they're a bit etiolated, but that happened at the very beginning, so there's not much I can do about it now. And if you saw our recent collections, we talked about my zebra cactus Haworthia and my aeoniums. And the aeonium is covered in dirt because recently a wind caught something on a higher shelf and blew it over, and dirt went everywhere. So
if you haven't watched Carrie's Haworthia and Aeonium collective video, go ahead and check it out.
Yes.
There's been more since that video.
Yeah, ornamental pepper plant. It's coming to the end of its season, but there were a ton of purple peppers on this.
I love how you paired it with the purple planter.
And I love purple, if you couldn't tell. Right. It's my favorite color. This guy is new from Trader Joe's. They sell these as Haworthia / aloe. So who knows what it really is, but this is one of my mugs that I drilled on Sunday.
Yay,
and potted some stuff in. Yeah. All right, more of my aeoniums. So again, go back and watch the collective video. This is the chocolate soldiers that I bought, that I got the seed pods off of. So I bought this at a nursery out in San Gabriel, and popped those little seed pods off, and hopefully I'll have some babies next year. Hopefully those guys all live. My best friend graduated with her master's degree in May, and I bought her and me both one of these crested euphorbias. So I've had this guy since, and you got to keep it in. If you want it to turn pink, it has to have direct sun. So it's sitting here, and at least for this time of year, it's getting some direct sun and staying nice and pretty on both sides. This aloe I recently moved outdoors. It's been inside under a grow light for ever and ever, and brought it out here. It's getting a little bit of direct sun, which is why it's red up here, but this is all new growth within weeks of me moving it outside. Haworthia, we talked about. This guy, let's talk about that one. This one I bought at a show I went to, not with you, the one I went to when I was sick. Stomatium mustellinum.
Super cool.
It's super, super cool. It looks like a bunch of tiny tiger jaws.
Yeah.
And it's native to South Africa, and I had to research and, you know, figure out what this thing needed, because I mean it was $10 for this little guy, which was so that's why it sits right here where it gets direct sun every day for a little while. Another part of my aeonium collection, my little bonsai aeonium. This is a gasteria that I picked up when we were together.
Love the contrast with the pot.
Thank you. So I'm trying to keep it in some sun to keep some of the orange on it, but I haven't found the perfect spot for it yet. So, and then, all right, this guy was from Catherine, so Joseph's coat, right? Yeah, and has grown like crazy. Such a neat little cactus. I love his variegation. We talked about this in our last video, my most recent plant haul. And here is a peperomia.
Yep. Another headache peperomia for me.
I would call this a slight headache plant as well. You can see that one of them has lost a lot of its leaves. I recently moved this one outside as well, because my best friend bought one that was super, super, super red, and I thought, you know what, let's give this guy some sun. So we're experimenting to see what happens. Are new to me. I don't think I had, no, I did have these the last time you were here. Just some random little sedum, but the color, the orange,
very pretty,
is just so beautiful. And this Kalanchoe, did you take one of these?
No.
I think you didn't want it. Yeah, you weren't interested in this guy.
I was thinking about it, but then I didn't get it.
Yeah, so I gave one to Kat. So this is a staghorn Kalanchoe.
Very cool.
Isn't it fascinating? And off of a stalk is how it grows new plants. So once that one comes out a little bit farther, I'll probably take it off and repot it. Although I might just see how long the stalk grows, because it's kind of cool to see it.
Very cool.
When I bought it, the stalks were everywhere, and it had grown through the rack it was sitting on. I gave you and Kat both a piece of this last year. So this is pink blush aloe, and I'm so excited that it's blooming. So
very pretty.
It loves the sun. Crown is the name of this particular, they named them, so this is the bloom that you get on this one. Last time you were over here, we were talking about this, and you asked me if it had any buds in it when I got it. So when I bought it, it had one like this, and here it had a bunch of buds.
So it bloomed on you.
So it bloomed, one bloomed, and I had a bunch of buds, and then they all died.
Oh.
So I moved it up here where it gets more sun.
Of course.
And look at that. So this, when they say full sun for the adenium, they really mean full sun.
Looks like you have an adenium collection up there. What's going on?
I do. Yes. So I got this guy. I'm going to pop over here real quick and bring this one over, because I bought it the same day. I bought these at the same place, and this one is supposed to be white. So this one should have white flowers whenever it gets mature enough to bloom. Then, and that was back in June. Can't believe I remember this. And this guy I bought about 2 weeks ago, and it's called Adenium picotea. And I always, if there's no blooms on it, I always look up what the flowers look like before I buy a plant. So the flower, it looked really cool. So here's my 3 adeniums. I don't have space for any more because they need so much sun. I just I should not get any more if I want them to be happy plants, you know. This Haworthia, I actually forgot about this one when we did my collection video.
Oh, I do that too.
So this is Haworthia chocolate, and you can see that it's brown, like a chocolate bar. And if it's not in the sun, it turns green.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So that's why it's out here sitting where it is right now. One of the first succulents I got, and it's my style of plant that just kind of goes a little crazy and gets leggy and goes all over the place. So I recently repotted it into this bigger pot and moved it up here where it gets at least a little bit of direct. Also loves the sun. We have these growing all over the place in Los Angeles, and they get huge and just so dark red. It's dropped its old leaves and growing some new leaves this year, but it's getting much more sun. So this shelf is basically in the place that the jade plant used to be. So the jade plant dying gave me the space to put out a bunch more plants and take advantage of the sun, because this gets sun the longest, at least during the summer, and then that rack, and then that one. So
where did you get the shelves from?
these shelves are Omar shelves from IKEA, and each one is 2 shelves
Stacked.
to get stacked. Yeah, and each one is $20.
Okay.
So super. In my newfound thrill with drilling pots, I went and I bought this. This was like a kitchen utensil holder at Big Lots. And I bought that and drilled some holes in the bottom of it. I bought this plant up in Northridge a few months ago, and it's just been sitting in the same planter it was in when I got it. So I
Finally has a home.
Now it has a nice pretty home. And then next to it is my new crested aeonium. And behind it, the aeonium whose name I can't remember right now, but also pretty new overall in my collection, which you'll see from the collection video that we did. All right, this is interesting.
What's going on here?
All right, so you gave me this from, was this one from Vegas or Arizona? Vegas. All right.
Oh, it's growing 2 babies.
So, yeah, it had the, when I got it from you, it had a little brown spot on it, and that brown spot, as you can see, it came over this way, and then it just stopped. So like, okay, it was damaged, that stopped, and then sprouted 2 babies from the edge of the damage.
Isn't that interesting?
Now, and then the one on this side, I got up out in the San Gabriel Valley. I loved this because of the variegation. It had the fruit on it when I got it. Brought it home, and it sprouted this.
Cool.
Now, these are really long. They're sitting where they get direct sun, but they're still super long. Because to me, if I saw that, I'd be like, oh, it's etiolated, it's looking for more light. I don't know how to give this thing more light. So we'll just see. We're just going to have some super stretched out opuntias here. Old man cactus that I got.
Peruvian old man.
Back in June. One part of it not doing so well, I don't think.
He's so fuzzy. Mine's is not that fuzzy.
Well,
look at that little baby on there.
Isn't that cool? I think that this piece isn't doing so hot, but the rest of it is. So I really need to unpot him and check his roots and see what's going on in there. I mean, I've had it for 2 months and I haven't unpotted it yet, so that's my bad.
So I see your cactus collection has grown.
The cactus collection has definitely grown. Back there, you'll see there's more gasterias from that huge plant I bought. So just like I said, experimenting around. This aloe started rotting, so I cut the bottom off, let it callus over, stuck it in here. These 2 guys I picked up at a plant club meeting. Somebody had trimmed some plants and brought them, so I just picked those cuttings up and stuck them in there to let them start to root, and then I'll decide what to do with them. This is cracking me up right now. It's I mean, you told me it's looking for something to grab onto.
Yep.
So
doing really good. In fact, I'm going to see Tanya today to do her plant tour.
Oh, cool. Well, show her this.
Yes, I will.
When I got these cuttings, it was just these 2 pieces, and all of this has grown. So I need to figure out what to do to make this guy happy. because he's giving me a message here. I just need to figure out what to do.
It wants to trail up on something.
Yeah.
Climb up on something.
So I might have to repot it. I might just stick it next to something that it can grab hold of. Flowering kalanchoe there in the back. Not flowering season, so he's sitting back there just biding his time and growing. I keep trimming it and it keeps sprouting new growth. This guy,
ooh,
crested blue wave. This plant gets confused with topsy-turvy a lot. Echeveria cubic frost crested. And if you look at cubic frost, pictures of that and pictures of a topsy-turvy, you can see how they get confused with one another. And since you were here doing my collection video, I found my tag from when I bought this plant. So it's a truncata bred with a Mahogany eye. So two very common Haworthias bred together. So green ovias, which have gotten super popular online because they just look like little roses. They're supposed to be dormant right now. This one, you can see, is definitely dormant. This one, when I brought it home, even though it's not sitting in the sun, decided to open up and have a party right now. So this one is living on southern hemisphere, and this one is living as a northern hemisphere plant. I bought these from a grower in the plant club.
Okay, cool.
At one of the crested euphorbia. Love crested plants. Also developing a collection of crested plants.
Yeah, mine is not doing good.
Oh, I might be able to find a piece in here for you if you want one. Got a couple of crassulas there in the back. I think one is Moon Glow and the other one is Springtime. Similar looking plants. They bloomed and then I just kind of stuck them on the back of the shelf there because, you know, space. Can't remember what this guy is, but I like the dark green and the maroon. This one had been inside for quite a while, and I finally decided to just behead it and see if I could get a better result off of the plant by beheading it and rooting that and seeing if it would be happier. And then my monstrous tiger's jaw there to the right, which is apparently a very slow growing gasteria that came from the show you and I went to together. Some little crested echeveria that I've had for a little while that I don't even know what kind of plant it is. The paper spine cactus over there on the right, Catherine gave me the original, that bottom one, a while back and kept one for herself, and ours look exactly the same now. They both sprouted two little ones on top. We talked about this guy in my Aeonium collection. This
another Caudex plant in your hand.
Yes. So this is it's actually the Latin name for it is a ficus Petoliaris. Okay, so this one I got at a local nursery. Just thought it was super cool. And then at the beginning of this month, the plant club meeting, one of the guys had these. So they're the same. They're both Sonoran rock fig is the common name for it. But you can see it's two different ones.
I was very close to buying one in San Diego.
It's just a neat little plant. And both of them, when I brought them home, they dropped a bunch of leaves. So I brought this one home, dropped all of its leaves, and I thought, great, I've killed it. And then it sprouted, and it's doing just fine. This one had much more leaves than this when I brought it home. It's also dropping all of its leaves. I'm assuming it's going to do just as well as this one. Yes, I hope so. Haworthias back there that we covered in my collection. A little aloe that I also picked up at the plant club meeting this month. So again, somebody trimmed a plant, brought their trimmings in for other people to take. And then Lediboria silver squill, which again, this was one of the first plants I bought to start my succulent collection. I bought it online, actually from somebody in LA of all places, but it's doing really well. I recently repotted it and I gave Jewelyn and a couple of other people some babies, and they're all doing really quite well as well. So this is a crested topsy-turvy plant. This guy, now this is a good question. This is supposed to be a ghost plant, but there's a lot of debate over what a ghost plant actually is and what it looks like. So if anybody has any other thoughts on that no, it's not a ghost plant, it's a something else, please comment and let me know. We actually kind of looked at this in my Aeonium collection because of the kiwi in there, but it was just one of those things that I threw some random plants into. So a little like jade type plant going right here. and I forget what this little echeveria is called, but I beheaded it and I got 2 new plants off of the stem in addition to the head rooting. And beside that, my really super cool bear paw bonsai. Love that plant. Really seriously, that guestaria was massive. More of the guestaria that I took apart. This little guy's an adrametius or adramyscus that I'm growing from props. And I have a few more of these and they're doing really well. So I have a few more inside from the same genus, family. They're green with little maroon spots on them. Little chocolate soldier baby there. This is a propeller plant that I'm growing from a prop. So it started out as a leaf and it's doing really well. I'm so excited about this one. I keep resisting buying a bigger propeller plant because I want to be like, nope, I grew mine from a cat gave me this after the show in June that we went to. It's a beautiful plant. I'm trying to grow a lot of it from props. So I have to mist that one a lot to keep those little props going. Haworthia. Then this is new. I sent pictures of these to you when I got them. So I got these 2 little wernias. They had blooms on them, brought them home. They dropped all their blooms. So they're just sitting out here in the sun, hopefully being happy, and maybe next year they'll bloom again. I guess the shock of a change of environment made them drop their blooms. This I got at the show that we were together at in June. And look at that tiny, I mean, look at these little blooms. Aren't they just the cutest thing? And there were a couple of these. So Caput minima is the scientific name for it, or a Chinese pagoda. And there were some of these in the show last weekend and they were absolutely amazing.
These pagoda plants are not cheap.
No, this was though. Didn't I pay only like $10 for this or something? I mean, considering that, look how tiny it is, that it's $10, but yeah, it was a good price for it. Can you see back there? So back there's the rickrack plant you gave me with its new growth coming up.
Oh, okay. Cool.
You gave this to me. And this sprouted.
Oh, cute.
And it sat at the same size forever and ever and ever, and now finally it hit its growth spurt. So we're in growing season now. And this was so long that I was like, so I cut it in half and I tried rooting it in water and I had 0 luck. So I stuck it in the dirt and it rooted. Okay, cool. So he's doing really well.
Cool update.
This plant you're probably not going to see very much of.
I think it's cool.
Tylocodan. When I got this, it had a lot more leaves on it. So the little fat green things are all leaves. But I saw quite a few in the show this past weekend and learned that they don't necessarily keep all their leaves, especially right now because it's blooming. And there was one in the show that had no leaves, but it had a ton of flowers. So it was just these, yeah. And this one will form a caudex under the ground as it matures, which I thought was really neat. Shark's tooth crassula. And then my friend bought one that had a ton of babies, and she didn't want any of the babies, so gave them all to me. So hopefully I'll wind up with a bunch of healthy shark's teeth next year. I forget the name of this guy, but he's so cool to watch his sun stress come and go depending on how much shade he's getting and everything right now. And then back there, Crassula ovata tricolor. So that was one of the first plants I bought when I decided to start collecting succulents as well. So that was one of my mail order plants back in the beginning. It is a trailing jade, and you can see the beautiful purple.
Mine is not purple yet, still waiting.
From the sun. Just a little prop. I think this is Pearl von Nürnberg. It's been so long since I've had it, I can't even remember what plant it is anymore. A little calancho of some type that I've had inside for a while under a grow light. Hasn't done anything, so I thought, well, I'll bring it out and give it some sun and see if that helps change things. Plants that we've talked about before. This is jet beads. Such a neat plant with that. Now, behind it, this guy, last time you were here, I had just moved it outside.
I was living inside your hallway area.
Yes, and it is so much happier outside. It doesn't even get sun, but it's outside and it's just like thriving now. It's grown so many more leaves up on top. It's just as happy as it can be. This guy, another little aeonium that came from plant trimming from someone at the plant club. And behind it is the vertical leaf senecio.
Very cool.
Which if it got more sun would also be purple. The top shelf.
On the right.
On the right. 5,000 different names for this plant, jelly bean sedum. It was much more orange, but I've been moving it around and it hasn't been getting as much sun. And I'm trying to figure that out because when it does get sun, it looks amazing in this pot. This guy, another type of crassula that I've forgotten the name of, also really likes the sun and turns some beautiful colors with the sun stress, so that's why it's up there. This is one of the things that I love the most. This is Calico Kitten. And I could not believe how dark the colors get on that from the sun, and I just love that.
Speaking of that plant color, it reminds me of your bloodleaf plant. What happened to that?
Yeah, that one did not fare well at all.
Well, where did it go?
It died.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it died.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that it's not here anymore.
Yeah.
So I seen that color plant.
I wound up taking it down, leaving some in dirt, and putting some in water to see if I could revive it somehow, because it was just dying. And I couldn't do anything with it, but it seemed to do best for you and Kat in water.
Well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but since then I've seen that at a variety of nurseries now. I had never seen it before.
Yeah.
And now I've seen it around a few different places.
Yeah, I've seen it at a nursery, here in California.
Yeah. So maybe I'll give that one a try again sometime. We'll see. It's not high on my list. It's just one of my little crested aeonium guys, and we talked about that in my collection video recently. All of these are from the top shelf on the left side. This was one of the first plants I bought too. So I started out with like 15 plants. It's just a happy plant. It keeps this purple color almost all the time. You can see how it stretches out, but it doesn't drop its leaves. Just this gorgeous, gorgeous purple, like deeper purple in the sun. And then I have 3 little props from another plant just going in here. This is just one out of that other little orange sedum collection up there. This guy, so Medusa plant, show that we were at back in June. A guy had a whole bunch of them and they were beautiful, and I started talking to him, and turns out they really need full sun, kind of like an adenium. So I said, well, mine's dying, I'm going to stick it outside. Stuck it up there where it gets direct sun, and it started blooming and growing new arms. So that was the solution. It has to have direct sun. And while I would love to have like 5 of these guys because they're just so unique, I don't have enough direct sun to keep them happily alive. So I'll stick with this one until I have a house with a yard one day. Like I said plenty of times before, I'm always moving things around. So this is the props that I have left right now. I've got a couple of propeller plants, adromiscus, and some random sedums and echeverias in there. And I stuck that over there to get more direct sun, because these guys here, these little props, have been in sun since they were a leaf, and they've done better than any prop I've ever had before. So I thought, well, I'm going to stick these guys in the sun. So another experiment going right now. And then this is the last pot that sits up on top up there. So this ogre ear I've had for a while, as well as the little baby one down there, which is just the cutest thing and one of my favorite things on the planet probably. And some random sedums that just gets all of this stuff just gets really pretty colors while it's in the sun. So that's why it's sitting up there. The last of my brilliant color collection, these are sitting on the shelf behind the trailing jade. This is a Graptopetalum superbum, and it's something that pretty much always stays purple-ish, but with the direct sun, it just gets a deeper purple. And this, yes, this is the queen of color change from sun stress. This is a ruby necklace.
I've never seen a ruby necklace all purple before.
Right? Yeah.
Mine's is green.
Yeah, yeah. So I'd had this one inside and thought, oh, I'll stick it outside. And my goodness, this is just, so, yeah.
Stunning.
It's mind-blowing. It's just so beautiful. So these ones that get the sun stress, I love to take them down and just look at them sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Both of these are Trader Joe's cactus. Okay. This one I got just recently.
Fairy castles. Yeah, fairy castles.
Fairy castles. I loved the purple pot, so I had to get it. And this one came with those other two that we looked at the beginning over there that were I mean, like, I think I ignored them for like a year. Didn't water them, didn't do anything, hence kind of the weird growth. But they're doing fine now, and they've got cute little pots, and they sit here on the railing between the dining room and the kitchen.
Very cute. Yeah. Cat break here between filming the tour.
Say hi, Wednesday. It's cat nap time.
Aww. What a mood.
This is my Thanksgiving cactus that hangs in the living room. And the hook that it hangs on was the only hook that was in the ceiling when we moved into this apartment. So I've had a plant, one or the other, hanging on there as long as we've been living here.
And since then, there's been more hooks added.
And since then, there's been lots more hooks added. So July 4th, I was home in the afternoon, repotting some plants, and I heard this noise. And I looked over, and the hook, like right where it comes right here, had snapped, and this fell and landed in the cat litter pan, of course. If you look around, you'll see all these broken pieces everywhere in here. It was an absolute disaster because when it fell, it flipped upside down. And those hooks, the small ones, are only made to hold 25 pounds. And I don't know how old that hook was. So I replaced it with a hook for 50 pounds. Because this thing isn't light when it's been watered, and it's doing fine. It's still got some new growth coming in, so hopefully that didn't stress it out so bad that it won't bloom this year. But yeah, that was interesting. This is from my pothos in my bathroom. I just had a couple pieces that were longer than the others, and I thought that I will trim it back and root those pieces and put them in a spot that doesn't have any. And I started trying water propagation and got no growth off of them, only rotting. So I kept trimming the rotted part off and putting it back in water. I haven't had any luck, so I took it and stuck it in dirt now. So I'm going to see if anything happens. I'm not hopeful because the other one wound up dying completely, and this one just keeps losing leaves. So if you have any thoughts on that, please share. Little jade that my neighbor gave me a little while back for, we trade off cat sitting duties. So sometime when they went somewhere, she brought that back for me for cat sitting. And here I have a couple of little fiddle leaf babies growing. I had two more, but those two were too weak. I should not have separated them out yet. So I'm going to see if I can grow these up to be anything. Here's some new stuff. So.
And is this shelf new too?
Since the last time you were here?
I think this is a new shelf and new setup with the lights too.
Because it was short. Was it the short shelf last time you were here, the super wobbly one? Okay, well, I don't remember when I got this shelf, but it must have been like April or something like that. Okay, all right. So yes, the whole thing is new. The shelf and the grow lights. The grow lights are the same as what I have in the dining room. And this shelf also came from IKEA and was probably like $40. And these plastic mats were left over from another set of shelves I had, and I just stuck them on here to protect the quote wood. So yeah, this whole thing is new then. Yeah. Maybe I can put a second one here. My husband actually suggested putting a second one here. He's such an enabler. I love him so much. I got this up in Northridge, my first Caudex plant. Because I just thought this was super, super neat. That kind of set me off on the Caudex plants, as you saw from outside. I have a few going out there. So we'll see what comes of that. The same day I bought that, I got this little tiny Pachypodium. And these guys get a little bit bigger, but you can see it's got a little bloom on there. And these are extremely slow growers. So like the full grown ones are only like something like that big, I think. don't hold me to that. But really slow growers, these guys. This gasteria I've had for a while. I bought it over in Santa Monica. It's just super cool because it's kind of, you know, gone nuts, and it had broken the pot that it was in. It was really neat. And then this ladyfinger cactus, another Trader Joe's buy.
Very cool.
So, might have to be repotted soon. We'll see. The day that I bought this one, I went a little crazy. We had a 10 or 15% off coupon. So everything that I got was discounted. So I got those two. I got these two guys right here. This one I really want to talk about.
Very cool.
All right. Most expensive plant. This would be my most expensive plant. Adromiscus harrii, green form. There's red ones as well. And they call them coffee bean plants just because they look like a coffee bean, not because they actually produce coffee beans. I've been wanting one of these for a long time, and since I brought it home, it sprouted out the bloom stalks.
Very
so
cute.
Very happy about that.
Very cool plants.
Yes, so I do want to add to my collection of these. I want to get more of those, the red ones and everything. Gasteria. I started to say we talked about that, but we didn't talk about Gasteria collection. We talked about a Haworthia collection. I like Gasterias almost as much as I like Haworthias because they're so similar to one another. You can see why somebody would like both of them. I mean, you can go from this super hard plant to this guy who's a little more like aloe-y kind of plant. Part of my Haworthia collection. This is just a cute little echeveria. It has been just a solid grower. No trouble at all. Recently put it into this new pot for a splash of color. We talked about this, but not on video.
Aeonium.
That you said this was a mini aeonium. I never thought of it as an aeonium before. So thank you for that. This guy, my cat gave a haircut to. So Marvin likes grass, and if I don't have cat grass around, he'll find something that looks like grass and eat it. So this was sitting on the dining room table, and he
went to town.
So, and then he threw it up all over the floor. Gasteria Green Star. Like, this one is so different from that. Again, like, just really neat, the variations you can get within the Gasteria family there. Skipping over to this fuzzy guy. I had this guy the last time you were here. It's obviously some type of Kalanchoe hybrid. It has a leaf like a chocolate soldier here, but these are shorter, and these fuzzy things are much more spiny. They don't hurt, but they're much more spiny than most Kalanchoes are. These things have been moved around recently. So Pink Butterflies has been outside forever and never did anything. I brought it inside, and now it's sprouted babies, which seems kind of backwards to me. I don't understand. I've had this tiny, tiny string of pearls forever. It doesn't do anything. It's grown a few extra ones, but I'm just going to leave it like that and not buy any more string of pearls because I kill them. This guy, again, don't really know what it is, but just a neat little plant with woody stems, some type of Graptivaria, Echeveria hybrid, maybe, kind of thing. I don't know. But it's cute, and aesthetics matter. We talked about that guy and that guy. Gasteria Little Warty. I've had this one for quite a while. I feel like he's probably over potted, and that I should maybe move him into a smaller pot to get some real growth out of him. This is another Adromiscus. This is called Key Lime Pie. I moved it indoors as well, and I moved it in, and it sprouted a bloom stalk. So it's been very interesting to see what's happier when I move it inside versus what's happier when I move it outside. So down here, Gasteria of some sort in the corner there. Super cool plant. Cool. He looks fake.
I know.
And he feels fake, but he's very real. Little tiny fuzzy kind of Kalanchoe-y guy. More Adromiscus here. So green with purple spots is a common thing with this section of the family tree. Another Gasteria and Haworthia here. Early spider plant got repotted since you were here before. And you can see how it's really greened up. Remember, I lost one of these.
Right.
It was turning white and being really weird, and two of them did that. One of them died, and the other one came back, bloomed and sprouted babies like crazy. We came back from our trip to South Africa at the end of April, and it had sent out like one stalk here, and since then it's just got all of these, and I've been giving babies away as much as I can. So if you want some, Jewelyn, let me know.
All right. Quick.
Hi, Marv. Say hi, Marvin.
Kitty break. Taking a nap, of course. Anybody who was wondering how the Sansevieria is doing.
So repotted the Sansevieria.
If you haven't watched that video, where we saved it.
So where we saved it, and then not too long ago, I took it out and broke it apart and repotted it again. Same pot, but I just wanted to get rid of all of the pieces that weren't doing anything, and I gave them away. So there's another little baby coming out of there. I think it's still in a state of shock because of what I did to it was really, I mean, I broke the roots apart into pieces. So I think it's just going to need a little bit more time to come back to growing. But it was already out of space the way it was. So it didn't have any room to go anywhere else. So that's why I broke it up like this. So fingers crossed that it's a success and it really does keep growing. Now. I think it's happier now. We'll see soon. Plant, as I've talked about before, not my favorite plant, was one of the first house plants I ever got. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't love this plant, but it does all right in this room, and you know, we'll just leave it here and see what happens. All right. So I showed you the two babies I had out there. So for $3, I got all of this.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. And I'm just trying to see what I
can.
All these little fiddles. Is that a bug or a spot? That's a spot. So we'll see what happens with these guys.
Love the chopstick.
Thank you. And then back here, the panda plant you gave me, which stays curled up no matter where I put it. And it's rooted very well.
Okay.
So it just likes to stay curled. I'm waiting for it to
do something.
I think it's fine. It's not going to die. I mean, it sprouted some new growth.
Okay.
But I like this room for it because it faces west and it gets some bright light without getting sun. I tried it inside, outside, brought it back inside. We're seeing what happens. My little goosefoot plant. I would, if I could, I would have every variety of this plant because I have my big one that's like green, and this one that has the pink that runs through it, and then there's one that's a super dark green. I'd love to have that one too. Aloe called Aloe Man Cave, and it sits in this sunny west-facing window all the time. So it's probably one of the things I water most often because it takes on so much heat coming through the glass. That heat amplifies, and again, it's one of those things that looks dead, but it's very healthy and very happy. It bloomed last year, so I'm hoping it blooms again this year. Two of my orchids here. This one is such a beautiful plant when it blooms. After it bloomed this year, it shot up this, and this. So when I got it, it had these stalks, and all of these the leaves all turned yellow on that one, and they all fell off. So now this one's starting to turn yellow. So I'm assuming it's going to drop all of the leaves off of these big stalks, and from what I can tell, that's normal for it. I have yet to have anything rebloom, so we're still just waiting to see what happens. That's it. From Pothos here. Doing well. Like I said, I trimmed a couple pieces off of it recently that were longer than others. Seeing if I can root that. I'll keep you posted on what happens there.
Do you ever bring this plant outside?
Yes.
Okay.
And I actually did that earlier this week. So
okay.
Sometimes I sit it next to a grow light. Sometimes I sit it next to the west-facing door, but I don't usually let it get direct sun. So yeah, sometimes I do, because the lights that are in the bathroom, these are full spectrum lights, but it's not quite enough for it. So yes, I'm going to say these are the cuttings you gave me from your Monstera.
Yes.
This one I just put back in the dirt. I had put it in water and gotten some better, stronger roots off of it. I feel like it's kind of like the panda plant, that I just need to give it a little time to kind of settle in. It's doing okay.
All right,
I mean,
keep me posted.
This leaf
that looks
is
like
new.
a new leaf. Yep.
That's new. But I'm just trying to figure out exactly what's going to make it really happy. And then this I got over in West Hollywood. It's grown a lot since I got it. They were propagating them, and I asked about them, and she said they weren't for sale yet, but I asked again, and she said, well, just know that they're very fragile, and we'll sell it to you, but it's just a fragile plant. And so the one piece died, which is in the dining room in some dirt to see if it'll regrow. That was half of this one. But otherwise it's doing just fine. It's happy. And I think I'm going to give it a pole to climb.
Okay.
Yeah. And then here, a plectranthus that it took me forever to figure out what this was. Picked this up off of the floor at a nursery over in Santa Monica. I have a lot of gnats right now. If anybody has suggestions on gnats, let me know. This is my first caladium. So you remember before in here, I had the pink Chinese evergreen. I took that one to work, and I felt like the room was, now it was so like uncolorful in here. So I had to get something else pink. So I bought this caladium.
Love the pot.
Found that at San Gabriel when you and I went shopping together.
Perfect.
Yes, I had to find the right pot for this plant. This is from you.
Yay.
So this is the little spider plant baby, doing just fine since I put it into dirt. And my little Chinese evergreen, which we've seen plenty of times, it's doing fine as well. Not perfect, but fine. Money tree is suddenly doing really well. It was weird for a while, and now it's super happy. And this is a coleus that I was given a tiny cutting from. So remember, it was about this tall when I first got it. So it's grown a lot, and I love how it's growing at all of the nodes some more leaves, so it'll bush out. This one was in a hanging pot. The mother plant was in a hanging pot. Curious to see what this does over time. And if you look up, here's the bluebird planter you were asking about. So this had been in the kitchen, but I felt like that other guy needed to go into the kitchen a bit, so we swapped out a bit. And Hindu rope seems to be pretty happy in San Gabriel Valley, and I'm curious to see what this is going to do.
Is this your first Hoya?
This is my second Hoya.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yep.
The tricolor.
Yep, the tricolor in the dining room. Put up some hooks in here. I only had 2, so I added 3 more. So I've got an empty hook that will fill soon. First string of hearts, so just cross your fingers for me. Not repotting it either. Just going to leave it in there and water it and fertilize it and try to keep it happy. Brazil cordatum. It has 15 different names.
Hello, Brazil.
Yes. And got him over in West Hollywood as well. Doing pretty good. He's got an odd texture to his leaves. It's something I look at and I think, oh, does that need to be watered? And then no, the soil's damp. It's just, I think it's just a very
the strain of it, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It looks kind of weird, but it's healthy and happy and growing new stuff all the time. So, yay. So I only have 5 orchids right now. I gave a couple to Kat and some to somebody else. So just like with the others, just maintaining them right now and trying to see if I can get them to rebloom next year.
Because orchids need love, even if they're not in bloom.
Exactly, yes. The other day I went over to for a facial in Santa Monica, and the place where I was, they have some extremely neglected plants in the courtyard of the complex, and this thing looked awful, so I plucked it off of there, and I'm gonna try cutting it in half and just sticking it in dirt.
A true crazy plant lady.
That's right. And then yesterday at Trader Joe's,
of course,
I got this guy. I mean, the texture,
variegated,
and the variegation on the leaves was absolutely irresistible. They only had this one, and this is gonna go to work. I'm gonna put it in a bigger pot and take it to work. Yeah.
And some other new babies that you recently got that was
Yes.
shared on the haul,
Yes.
which is the previous video.
Yes.
Prior
so
to
take
this
a look
one.
at that. Yeah.
Very cool. All right, Carrie, what's going on?
All right. So I've got a bunch of fire sticks that were given to me by a friend. So he gave me a total of like 8 of these guys, all in pots. And I'm going to keep most of the pots, and I've been giving these away to friends because they're just too big for me to have anywhere. So I'm going to unpot this and give it to you to take to
Tanya's.
Tanya today as a thanks for all of the plants that she's given me.
Cool.
So, yeah, so we'll
Not
get
love.
this guy out of here. Oh, look, they're just cuttings. Who knew? Here
Yeah.
you go. Okay, cool. All right. So someone must have. So here's what happened. Someone did cuttings off of their plant and put them. Okay. Yeah. So here you go.
Thank you.
Nice. You're welcome.
That was so much fun going through your whole space. It's really cool to see how much has changed over the past couple of months.
Yeah.
And also, keep me posted on how your grow lights do for you.
Okay.
How long have you had it now in your space?
That new setup I put together in May.
Okay.
Yeah, right after we came back from South Africa.
All right. So let's go ahead and talk about Carrie's current top 5. This is probably one of my favorite parts in the tour.
Yeah. And it's always hard to pick 5. You know, when you've got like however 200 plants to choose from, it's like, how do you pick your favorite
So your
5?
current 5 for the
So
day.
it's like the current 5, you know. So there's 2 that are, you know, perennials on the list, right? You know, and like this plant, you kind of go, oh, well, it's I don't know, it's not like super fancy or crazy or anything.
Is
but
this the same one?
This is Fang. It's the same one.
It grew.
He grew, and I gave him a friend
Aww.
because I had a cutting that had come and it died. So I bought him a friend, and I think I'm gonna have to repot him because he's kind of getting.
How long has he been in this planter? Last time we were here for the tour, it was not living in this planter.
Yeah, same one.
Oh.
Yep, he's been in this for a little while now.
He grew.
He grew a lot. Yeah, I move things around all the time
By the
to
way,
see what makes them happy.
from all the plant tours we've done, this one has always been in your top 5.
This is always in my top 5. It's just such a cool plant. It's fuzzy. It has little teeth on the bottom. He's just
lot of personality.
neat. He's got some personality. So, and remember, we talked about him
Yes.
getting eaten by some worms somehow on my 2nd floor balcony. And he's doing just fine. So, yeah, he's growing up a lot, but he's not getting really big leaves. So,
Okay, I have the same plant in a small planter. Maybe I should put it in a bigger planter. Maybe it'll get bigger.
yeah.
Okay. In no particular
In no
order.
particular order. So, you know, we've already talked about these. So this was actually my 2nd Ripsalis. But I put him in this blue pot for contrast, and he sits right outside, and I can just like look out there and see him and go, oh yeah, I love that color. So just that's why this has become one of my favorites. I think is partially because of the pot I put it in.
Alright, I'm thumbsing up this plant because I'm a huge Ripsalis collector.
Yes, this guy too. So
Love Caudex plants.
So this was my first Caudex plant. And he's, again, it's just things with personality, right?
My
and
Bigfoot is doing really good too.
yeah, so
I'm gonna have to make a trellis, so maybe we can make one together.
well, yes. I got a couple of wire coat hangers.
Okay.
And I see the coolest things people do with their wire coat hangers to make trellises for their vines. So I was going to try to do something like that. Maybe we could do a video.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
On that. So, so what did you call this guy?
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Okay. Rather than trying to pronounce his Latin name. So, all right. It's always one of my top 5s. Eek. Look, you're just going to take up the whole screen. So, recently you came over and we actually talked about this plant.
Yeah, so what's going on with it? Are you gonna propagate?
I don't know. I didn't have any plans to. Unless somebody asks for some of it, I don't plan. I'm just going to let it do its thing.
Cascade over the
Let it cascade. I mean, and it's cascading all right. So I pruned it because it had a lot of leaves with just little brown spots. and I think it was just the fact that it's getting bigger, and I think I just wasn't keeping up with the watering needs, because I cut all those pieces off and then I watered it thoroughly, more thoroughly than I ever have before, and he's doing just fine, and there's no more leaves opening up with brown spots on them. But what's really cool about this plant is when you start with it, it just grows up, like the small one I have. And then as you put it into a bigger and bigger pot, they start to trail.
Right.
And it's just kind of, like you said, cascading over, and it's wrapping in a really cool way around the...
Very cool.
Around the perimeter of the pot. So, yeah, this guy is always one of the top 5s.
That is definitely plant goals. My plant babies are very small in my collection like that, and a lot of them live in my bathroom.
Oh yeah.
I have maybe 2 living by my water fountain, and the rest live in my bathroom.
Okay, all right. Do you want to grab the other one? So that's number 5, one of my newest plants. So this was the crested aeonium that I bought when I was with you out in San Gabriel Valley. Yeah.
So quick to steal a spot.
She just took a little piece of my heart.
You have to name it.
I'll come up with a good name.
Okay. Sound off down below if you have any suggestions for plant names for this one.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do when I come over to my plant friend's house is, well, give them plant babies. So I bought some plant cuttings over for Carrie, and the first one that I want to talk about, well, they're rare cuttings. So I see that the Tradescantia cuttings I gave you behind me are doing really good.
They're doing well, yes.
So I brought over my lavender Tradescantia.
Okay.
So I got this plant in, I got this Tradescantia in Canoga Park, and it was like the only one I've ever seen in person.
Okay, wow. Cool. So pretty.
I got you some cuttings.
Thank you.
And then I went to another nursery in Ventura, so north of me, and I found another rare Tradescantia there.
Oh my gosh.
That I've never seen in person except the one I bought. So both of these plants. And this is like a lemon lime.
Oh, cool.
So
that's exciting.
And my mother plant, you'll see as the plant grows, they'll be like dark green.
Yeah.
Popping out in different sections.
Okay.
So I think you're the only person that has cuttings from both of the plants.
Oh, cool.
So that's a plant fun fact on that one. So yeah, keep me posted.
Okay.
But yeah, I've never taken from the plants before. I think one of my subscribers had purchased cuttings off of their 2 plants, but other than that, I've never taken from the plant before.
Well,
except today.
Cool.
And then I brought another plant baby. I figured switch it up.
Okay.
And this is the second cutting that I took from my mother plant that I've had for over 3 years. Catherine got one recently, and I am bringing you over the second baby I ever took from the mother plant. So this is a euphorbia. It's a Moroccan mound. Okay. And it grows really cool and interesting, but you know, when I took it from the mother plant, it was crying white milky tears. And,
which you don't want to get on your skin.
So yeah, callus it over and plant it up and keep you posted.
I will. I've got a good spot for it.
So I hope you enjoy the plant babies. I'm really excited to see how your Tradescantia cuttings do.
Yeah, me too. Because
for whatever fallouts I've had from the plants, they root up really easy, and I see yours rooted up really easy. So now you're getting a chunk of my Tradescantia collection.
Okay, great.
So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing Carrie's plant tour for summer 2019 and seeing how her plant collection is doing here in Los Angeles, California. And if you want to see more of Carrie and you're not subscribed, subscribe first. Thumbs up the video. Sound off down below what was your favorite part of her plant tour, or maybe your favorite plant that you've seen in her collection that you don't have that maybe you're looking for, or maybe sound off down below what was your favorite plant and how she styled them. I would love to know in the comments down below. And if you have maybe any plant ID names that maybe Carrie didn't know of offhand, sound off down below. And I love that about the plant community. I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with Carrie and I. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. You can find more on my blog at ilovejewelyn.blogspot.com. Until next time, aloha from Los Angeles, California. Bye.